Hello, my name is Noah Buchanan, and I'm very interested in computer science. If I am granted the great opportunity to attend GHP, I would hope to learn about managing larger projects with many programmers and expanding my limited knowledge on web development. Ultimately, I really want to just expand my quite limited horizons and learn all I can about programming. I've been interested in coding for as long as I can remember. However, I only began learning programming in 8th grade. I started with Python, and since then I've made countless programs throughout the years, but recently I completed my favorite and my largest project to date. This project was created for my school science fair as I tried to solve the issue that many students have, which is overcoming the barrier to coding. I wanted to challenge myself and approach the problem with web development, which I hadn't had any experience in. I knew it was going to be challenging, but that was my main motivator and I wanted to give it my best shot. The problem is there is a perception that programming is hard to learn, and it keeps many from learning and pursuing programming. The purpose of this project is to change individuals' perceptions of programming. From personal experience, I know that programming is quite daunting from the outside looking in, but once you get your feet on the ground, things get much easier. My idea for the website was simple and inspired from websites I learned programming from. I plan to have chapters of content separated into topics, and each chapter has content with a quiz attached to the end of it so that the user can test what they've learned. I designed a website with instructional content and quizzes to gently introduce the users to Python. I spent about a month, or what I would like to estimate, about 100 hours coding the project, and I used Django for the backend. This was my first time I ever worked with Django, so I had to walk through the introductory tutorials and scour the documentations for the answers that I was looking for. I wanted my website to be dynamic, specifically meaning that I could add course content and everything would automatically be set into place, which allows the website to scale easily and avoid tedious work, as opposed to manually creating HTML pages for each chapter. This would also allow me to add course content in the future if I wanted to. I created models for each of my components in the website, such as user models, chapter models, question, and choice models. And each higher level model was a foreign key for the layer below. What I mean by this is that the choice model was below the question model in hierarchy, as multiple choice objects could correspond to one question object. So I made a question a foreign key for a specific choice object so that I could filter in the backend to display the right choices for each question. This foreign key process was used many times throughout the creation of this project. Another major feature I wanted to implement was a simple button that would be linked to the chapter listed in the dropdown of each topic. This button would redirect the user to that chapter URL so that the user could read the content for that chapter and then take the quiz. This is a very vital component of the website. However, this proved to be quite difficult to implement. I learned to use the URL tags within Django's template language, which I learned from the poll app tutorial. However, I didn't realize that this URL name was directly defined in the urls.py file, which was quite a headache until I noticed it. Instead of referencing the name defined in the URLs file, I was using the name defined in the views file, which I didn't realize because in the Django documentation, the naming schematics are very similar. However, when I was creating my project, I named them differently, so I didn't realize. I unfortunately spent a little more time than I would have wished on this issue. However, it taught me a little bit more about the way Django works. By far, the most daunting issue I faced was trying to create a custom template tag. I wanted to filter out each chapter based upon the chronological order of topics I set, and each chapter that was assigned to that topic would be placed in a different section of the dropdown. This was vital for the dynamic nature of the website. After many hours and many frustrated coding sessions, seeing that the syntax was correct yet Django kept throwing errors, I solved this issue by realizing that I didn't need two arguments for the template tag, which was very easy to miss. This was one of the final challenges I faced, and after this, the website was only in need of touch-ups and in need of a hosting service. And for this service, I chose Python Anywhere as it is free and has great documentation to help walk you through the Django hosting process. I learned a lot creating this website, especially about Python and Django, but even about HTML and CSS. I was able to grasp general Django workflow, which was extremely encouraging as I thought it may even be beyond me. However, the data gathered from the participants and from my friends is highly encouraging, suggesting that my website is actually helpful in teaching programming. Thank you.